All right, good evening. We're going to call the meeting to order. We just got out of closed session. We do have one board member, Marlene Smith, who is joining us via phone, and she's on the phone right now. Marlene, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right. Can all the other board members hear Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so
Hi, guys.
if you ever want to say something, please speak up, and we will let you speak into the microphone here. All right, so hang on, and we'll start our meeting.
Okay, I'll stay on mute until I need to.
Okay, great. And all votes tonight will be via roll call, so be prepared for that. All right.
Got it.
With that, we will start our regular session, and we'll start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. And Mr. Sowersby, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I have some corrections to the agenda. First off, item number 9D, sorry, trying to find it. 9D is pulled tonight. That is the Family Resource Center lease that will be pulled for a future agenda. On item 10, the consent calendar, item 10B1, there's an updated list. Board members have it in front of you, and it is posted on the district's website. So that updated list has been updated on the website, and we have it in front of us. And also, item 10E1, donation from the estate of Joanne Mueller June to Los Menos High School. There is an updated BRM in front of you, which also has been posted on the district website. It has some updated information that we got late, and so we wanted to make sure that we had all the information correct before we took action on that item. So with that, Dr. Marshall, do we have any other
No further changes.
for changes? Okay, so I need a motion to approve the agenda as corrected. We got a motion by Member Gattuso, seconded by Member Castro to approve the agenda as corrected. All those in favor? Aye. Oh, excuse me. Got to do roll call. Sorry. This is a little change for us, so go ahead, Tina.
Mr. Castro?
Yes.
Mrs. Gattuso?
Yes.
Mr. Lieb?
Yes.
Dr. Moran?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Valadeo?
Yes.
Mr. Pereira?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tina. We have an agenda. So if there's anybody here tonight that wishes to have anything placed on a future agenda, you may do so by submitting that information to the superintendent at least 2 weeks prior to a regularly scheduled meeting. If it's within our purview, we will check on, make sure that we get it placed on our agenda if it's something that we need to have placed before us. Anybody that is here tonight that wishes to address the board on any item that is on tonight's agenda may do so when that agenda item comes before us. All I have to do is come up to the podium. I'll recognize you. Please give us your name. You will have 3 minutes to speak. And if there are multiple speakers on any agenda item, there will be a limit of 20 minutes for total comments on that agenda item. And off to my left, your right, underneath that monitor is a countdown clock, so you will know where you are in your 3 minutes. If there's anybody here tonight that wishes to address the board on anything that is not on tonight's agenda, you may do so in a second or two, and when I say that we're ready for you, again, you will approach the podium, give us your name. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. If there are multiple speakers on the same non-agenda item, there'll be a limit of 20 minutes for that non-agenda item presentation. So with that, is there anybody here tonight that wishes to address the board on any item that is not on tonight's agenda? If so, please come forward. All right. Oh, here he comes. Good evening, Mr. Dela Cruz.
Good evening. First off, thank you, board members. And I just want to say thank you once again for having us here. I noticed on the agenda tonight, you're going to be talking about the budget, which is kind of nice because that's something that we're talking about in class and focusing on budgets, and kind of everybody has one, right? So we need to make sure that we're fiscally responsible. So that was nice to see on there. I want to give you a little update on our AVID program at Pacheco High School. Last week, Mr. I, myself, Ms. Belinas, and Ms. Cates were fortunate enough to go to visit Modesto High School. Modesto High School is a national demonstration school. And I will tell you, it is a phenomenal program. What they have set up there in the past 22 years is something that is to be admired. And we got an opportunity to go visit with their staff and with their coordinator, and we got to see actual tutorials take place, which is, it's really exciting to see. We are in the process right now at Pacheco of we send out applications to the junior high school, Los Banos Junior High School, and we have received, I believe, up to right now, 44 applicants, which is kind of nice to see. And so we will be interviewing them on April 1st when we come back. Hopefully by that time we will make our selections so that way we can be ready for the following school year. And so we will be, and then a group of us will be attending Summer Institute in San Diego at the beginning of June, where we will then work together as a site team to put together a plan for the upcoming school year. And hopefully we will start making our way towards that same kind of focus of a demonstration school. I know right now they have AVID at Creekside right now. I know this because my son is an AVID student, and so he's in the class with Miss Dobbs, who's a fantastic teacher, and I know Los Banos High School also has the program. So I know Dr. Marshall, this is kind of your thing that you wanted to get started here, and happy to see that. Once again, AVID is a great program. I hope that we can make it successful. And I just want to give you guys a little update on that. So that's it. Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. All right, is there anybody else here that wishes to address the board on any item that is not on tonight's agenda? All right, seeing no one come forward, we will move on to reports, starting off with our student representative report. Juliana, welcome.
Everyone, I'm going to start off with Los Banos High School's news. Senior students at Los Banos High School turned in their local scholarship applications that were due Friday, February 28th. There were 77 students who turned in applications this year. This is equivalent to hundreds of individual applications. Donors have until April 11th to choose which students they would like to be the representative of their scholarship. Los Banos High School looks forward to recognizing and celebrating our senior winners on May 4th at our scholarship award ceremony. From March 4th to March 6th, the current seniors had a valuable opportunity to meet with the counselor from Merced College. During these sessions, they were able to discuss their academic plans for the upcoming fall semester of 2025. This one-on-one time allowed students to ask questions, explore potential courses, and receive guidance on their educational paths, ensuring that they are on track to meet their goals and prepare for their transition to college life. The Merced College counselor provided personalized advice on course selection, degree requirements, and other important aspects of college readiness. On Monday, March 10th, both juniors and seniors were able to participate in a college tour at CSU Monterey Bay. This exciting event allowed students to explore the campus and get a feel for the university environment. The students were also given the chance to attend an admissions presentation where they learned about the application process, scholarships, and what to expect. Additionally, they had the opportunity to hear directly from two department heads who shared insightful information of the majors they oversee. This gave students a deeper understanding of the academic programs offered at CSU Monterey Bay. We're excited to invite everyone to our annual Multicultural Night on March 20th from 5:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. This event is open to the entire community and will feature a variety of performances, from music and dance to unique traditions. In addition to these performances, they will be offering food, crafts, and goods from all around the world. It's a great opportunity to explore new cultures, enjoy delicious food, and support local clubs. We can't wait to see you there and celebrate our vibrant community together. On March 12th at 7 p.m., we had held our spring performance featuring our winter percussion, winter guard, jazz band, and concert band. Each group delivered amazing performances showcasing their talent and hard work. The winter percussion impressed with their precision, the winter guard amazed with their choreography, and the jazz bands brought energy within their lively tunes. The concert band rounded off the evening with beautiful music. It was a fantastic night of music and creativity. We're so proud of all the performers. Last Wednesday, we took a moment to come together as a community to celebrate and show our appreciation for our beloved staff member, Ms. McBride, who is recently diagnosed with breast cancer. As she prepares to undergo surgery in the near future, we want to express our heartfelt support and well wishes. Ms. McBride has always been a positive and dedicated member of our team, and now it's our turn to offer her the same care and encouragement she's given to many of us. We are committed to supporting her every step of the way as she navigates this journey. We know her strength and resilience will carry her through. Our thoughts and prayers are with her during this challenging time. Sports news. Winter sports are officially over, and the Tigers had a 4 out of 5 6 teams make the postseason. Wrestling had not one but 2 state medalists at their recently held California State Championships. Junior Angelini finished with a third place medal, and senior brother Rockton B also finished in third place. Rockton B and Cassidy B were selected as the school's top senior male and female scholar athletes. Both will be recognized at a luncheon for the Central California Conference in May. Cassidy will also be selected as the league's top female scholar athlete and will be recognized as at the section level at a breakfast in April. On February 18th, the Sweetheart Banquet was held in the multi-purpose room on campus. In total, the Sweethearts candidates raised $29,000, and JCB was crowned as the 2025 Sweetheart. On February 13th, the Los Banos FFA took 50 students to the Tulare Farm Show to learn more about agriculture. February 17th to 21st was National FFA Week, where we were able to work with admin, ASB, and other people around campus to host activities throughout the week for our members and the school. Congratulations to the BIG team who placed 3rd and 4th high team at the Le Grand Field Day on March 3rd. Gianna P. was 3rd high individual and Drake Field was 4th high individual. In addition, the Farm Power team placed 6th. On March 10th, members alongside veterans packaged and served individuals who brought dinners for the Honor Flight drive-thru dinner. As for Pacheco High School, our Panthers have been very active in our sports and creating new memories. I can't wait to share some of our experiences and achievements from within our Panther community. Mesa News. Starting off for our Mesa team who competed in the Mesa Day preliminary competitions at Fresno State last Saturday. There were over 12 teams that competed, and the following teams excelled and earned medals and advanced onto region. First place, Bio Breakthrough, Harney S., Taman C. G. George T. Second place, Bio Breakthrough, Frank L. Raymond L. First place, Moon Base Ramneet C. Amy T. First place, Impromptu Speech, Harney S. Taman C. George T. Second place, Abel J. and Jury C. These Panthers will be representing PHS at the regional competition that will be held at Contra Costa College on April 12th. Alexandra Loretta is the first 3-time state qualifier for Pacheco High School for the girls wrestling team. Some of our following wrestlers competed at the WAC League Finals and will be moving on to Boys Division IV Championships on Saturday, February 15th in Sacramento, and Girls Southern Regionals at Central Valley High in series Friday and Saturday. Boys WAC champion Dominic H., second place Alessandro H., Xavier F. The alternates is Christian B., Aaron M., Christian, and Hugo. The girls' placers included our WAC champions Alex Malaya, third place Paola, Jaina, Dakota, and Athena. The next following girls will be competing at the SJS Southern Regional Championship held at Central Valley High in series. The top 4 placers for the boys and 8 girls will move on to compete at the San Joaquin Sections Master Championship in Stockton. Good luck, Panthers. The Pacheco boys soccer team advanced to the section semifinals this season. While they did not get the win, we are proud of them and their hard work. Congratulations. Pacheco Sports Boosters is bringing WWE-style wrestling to Pacheco High on March 24th, 2025. The tickets are $20, and if interested, reach out to Mr. Dela Cruz or Mr. Pikus at Pacheco High. EO March Madness. Our English learner students will, with support from bilingual staff and seniors ELS, are hosting a March Madness event featuring volleyball, basketball, Zumba, and an obstacle course. This student-led fosters community, fitness, and engagement. PHS continues to strengthen family connections through monthly community workshops. December's winter mug painting saw 160 plus participants, while January's painting and mariachi event welcomed 65 attendees. April workshop, April 18th, 6 to 8 p.m. will focus on home gardening with take-home kits provided for all families. Student activities. Pacheco ASB is always working to better our culture, and right now we are super busy readying for community give back in the form of our annual blood drive with Central California Blood Center. On Monday, March 17th, Pacheco will hold a blood drive that is open to the community, and those students 16 or older with parent permission, if you have time, stop by and give the gift of life. This Friday, we will also be holding our No Hate BMX tour, which we are really excited to bring back to campus. At the end of February, Ms. Shuriok and Mr. Pikus attended the California Activities Director Association State Conference, where Mr. Pikus earned the Bob Burton Spirit Award for his time spent as Activities Director. They also brought home some new, insightful, positive, inclusive environment for our students, staff, and community. We hope everyone had a safe and relaxing spring break. Our teachers, staff, and students deserve it. Thank you so much.
Juliana, great job. Thank you. All right. On to California School Employees Association report. Do we have anybody tonight? All right. You know, and come forward. How about Los Banos Teachers Association and report tonight? Okay. Next up is our facility report. Ms. Monday. Good evening.
Good evening, everybody. Get situated here. Okay, my name is Sherry Monday. I'm the Manager of Facilities and Special Projects, and I am here to do the March 2025 Facilities Update. Good evening, board members, Dr. Marshall, Executive Cabinet. Our first picture here is my presentation today is really focused on the TK Center. That's kind of the one project that's really under construction right now. Everything else is I don't have pictures of, so we're going to focus on this today. We'll come back to this picture in just a little bit, but this is an overview of the site right now. We've moved a little further past this, but we're going to come back to the Los Banos Junior High in just a second. So here on the left, you can see our building pads are ready. They're ready to bring the buildings in. They're working on all the electrical, and we've had to build, in the bottom long picture is an access road that they had to build due to the trailer that they bring the buildings on is a low bed trailer, and so they were not able to get into the site without ruining their trailer, ruining our building. So we've had to build that access road so they have access to the site. Obviously, we have some weather delays from the rain we've just received, which was disappointing, but we're going to keep on moving forward. So where we are with the site contractor and their work, sewer's 100% complete, storm is 100% complete, off-site storm drain 80% complete. The low voltage is actually at 60%. When I did this, we were only at 45%. Our building pads, building pad B is 100%, building pad C is 100%. Building pad D, do I have a picture of it? I do. So the one over in the right-hand corner, you can see that's building D. They were starting to work on that. We were going to be able to form that up this week, but the rain came. They weren't able to work today or tomorrow. So we're a little behind on that building. And then building pad A, we've completed the compaction testing. So once weather permits, they'll be able to start working on that and getting that ready. Building A is our office building. So it's really important they bring that as soon as possible. So if we go over to the right-hand side here, building manufacturer. So building B, they will be shipping it out on 3/17. And then they're craning it onto the site on 326 and 327. These come in individual floors. It's not a whole building put together. So let's go back to our first picture. So here you can see Los Banos Junior High's blacktop is just adjacent to our site. Big, huge thank you to Principal Dio Brazil. She gave us permission to be able to stage the buildings on her blacktop. So they will be bringing them in next week. The following week, we'll be craning them onto the site. So that's spring break week. And even I had concern, like, what if we go over that time frame? And she was very cooperative, very accepting of us. If we had to go over that time frame, they would be okay with that. They were going to talk to their PE teachers, make sure to keep the kids away. The building manufacturer is going to put a fence around there so nobody messes with the building, so it'll be safe and secure. So that is going to help us because we have nowhere to stage these buildings. And if we wait to be able to bring them, weather permitting, it's just going to delay everything. So with us being able to stage there on that blacktop, as soon as there's a great day, they can go get that building and put it on the site. Whereas if we're having to wait for them to bring it all the way from the manufacturer, that's different. And especially like building A, it has to be CHP. CHP actually comes with them. So that's a lot of coordination with that. So let's go back here. And then some of the, one more thing on this slide. We are still waiting for the traffic signal to be approved from the city. We're hoping within a week or so we get that approved, but that still is really impacting our schedule for our site contractor. We need to order that signal. It's a 6-month lead time for that. So we're really hoping we get that approved soon. Some of the other projects that are going on, Los Banos High School modernization, we're expecting approval hopefully by the end of the month. We have construction management firm interviews on Monday, so we have a great panel, and we have 4 firms we're going to be interviewing, and hopefully we can get a great partner to help us get through this project successfully. The PHS CTIG classroom and greenhouse project finally was DSA approved this week. So I have a meeting set up tomorrow, so we'll start the bidding process and get that one going. The LED lighting project, originally we were going to start on April 1st. I got a phone call today that all of the, they've procured all their materials and they're ready to actually start on the 24th, which is spring break week, which works great. They're going to start at Los Banos Junior High School. The Los Banos Junior High School kitchen hood fire suppression system also was DSA approved. We're starting that spring break. That should only take a week long, so we should be in and out, and the staff should have their kitchen back, so when school returns, they'll be very, very happy. And that is it. Any questions, comments?
Questions, comments?
I'm looking at me.
Okay. We have a question from Ms. Smith. Go ahead, Marlene.
I would like to know if Sherry could tell us, and she may have before, but I had some questions about the work that was just finished at Pacheco High School. Can you explain to us what was just done at Pacheco High School and completed?
Can you give me some more information? I haven't done anything recently besides E-Wing at Pacheco High School.
Maybe that was the construction. It was a comment that came up in the city, not in the city council, but in the city communication groups, that there was some work done at Pacheco and nobody knew on this communication site what that work was. And a teacher actually commented and said you should ask the district office what's going on over there. So I just wanted to see if you could clarify if there was some work done at Pacheco, and if it was some work at Pacheco in the month of February, what was it?
I am not aware of any work. I could check with our maintenance department and see if they did some work over there. Do you know, Cypher? But they're not actually doing any work yet, no. So I'm sorry, Ms. Smith, I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I could definitely find out if we did any maintenance work over there. We are talking, doing some planning for the baseball field there. And so I don't know if that is what is being talked about. We are in the very early stages of planning that project.
Okay.
But other than that, I can't think of anything I've done over there.
Okay.
But I
that's
will
enough.
check with our maintenance department for you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, any other questions? Comments? All right, Ms. Monday, thank you very
Thank you.
much. On to our community schools report. Dr. Wheeler. Welcome.
Thank you. So tonight I'll be just giving an oral presentation again. Hopefully soon I'll have some pictures to be able to bring to do to be as fancy as Sherry is. So so here's March's update for community schools. And so what has happened since the last time I gave an update? We did have a site visit. So a handful of us, about 9 people from the steering committee that was created last year. And then several of us, Dr. Marshall and Dr. Ritchie and I went down to Lancaster. And the reason why we went down there is because they have similar demographics and they have a commuter population similar to our own. And it allowed us to be able to, ask questions and talk to people with experience, not only creating community schools through the community schools grant, which is what Lancaster School District has done. They have 23 schools, and they have a model that is similar to ours. Not exactly the same, but similar in that they have a central center, and then each of their schools has liaisons as well. And I'm working with them because they already have a social worker on their team, and talking with them about some of the resources that they're bringing in. So it allowed us to form relationships with, schools that have done the work already. Eastside Union School District also has a community school model, but they kind of came at it from the opposite way that we are. They started with their LCAP money and began their community center, and they're a much smaller district. I believe there's six, about 5 schools. But they are now they applied for the community school grant and will be in cohort 4 should they get it. They'll find out in May whether they have been awarded the grant or not. And what was really interesting about that is to see how they embedded it in the work that they were already doing in the district, which is what we're working towards. So it showed us a way that we can start building that sustainability and how to make sure that it is incorporated. Both of the school districts were inspiring in the way that they've come together, in how they've focused on supporting families and the services that they've provided. And we all had a lot to talk about as we went through each of the sites. And I know that Dr. Marshall is planning on giving more of his insight during his report. Also, we had our first Community Schools Advisory Committee meeting on Wednesday, March 6th. And actually, we had quite a few people who were able to attend. We did hold it on Zoom because it is often difficult to get so many different people in the same place at the same time. And some of the people one person was on their phone and, other people are in, office or at home or whatnot. So it made it possible for us to all come together. Our next meeting will be in April. We're still finalizing what everybody's schedule is, but we had an opportunity to kind of clarify more. People were able to ask questions so that we can start defining what we're going to be doing together as a council. Also, since the last board meeting, we interviewed and hired 14 community school liaisons and a family resource center supervisor that is before you today in the consent calendar to be approved. So pending approval, I'm excited for them to come on board. Looking forward to the onboarding and also working with the principals to help place them. So definitely getting the input of the principals as to how they, whether or not each of the liaisons will be a good fit or not for their school site. Since we know each school site has its own personality, and we want to make sure that we have the best fit possible. Then we have quite a few upcoming events. So while we don't have the Family Resource Center just yet, and I'm still getting to onboard the liaisons, we're still able to start bringing in events and activities. So we are going to have science family classes at 2 school sites at the end of April. The class is titled The Family Science Lab, All About Chemical Reactions, or otherwise known as the class where you get to make a volcano. And so this is an all ages, whole family event where dinner will be provided, and the families will get to make the volcano together, and then they'll get materials that they'll be able to take home and build their own at home. And we're going to have it at Grasslands and at Henry Miller as a kind of pilot for next year. So next year, the goal is that we will bring those science and interactive classes to each of the school sites, as well as a book club literacy building activities that will also be brought to each of the school sites. And we'll be working with at that point, I'll have the community schools liaisons who will be able to work with each of their sites to tailor what events, and what classes they would like to have. And that's through an organization called Success Together. I'm really excited about that preview and to see how the families respond and what their, what their excitement level is like. So we'll be getting feedback on that. On April 15th, EECU will be coming and providing a family financial workshop called MoneyWise, and that is completely free of charge. It'll be at Pacheco High School. They've been so kind to provide us with the multipurpose room, and childcare will be provided as well, along with dinner. And that one is also kind of a preview. We'll be working with EECU as well as Merced County, the Merced School Employees Credit Union on multiple projects. So this is just, again, getting the ball rolling and offering these activities and events for the community. We are planning a Dine and Learn event, which is something we learned about in Lancaster and thought that's a great idea, where we're going to combine LCAP and community schools, and the community school liaisons will be part of the conversations and at the table with the families as we discuss LCAP and what it means for the families, and involving them in that process, as we do with LCAP whenever it's written, but now folding in the community school liaisons to make it an even more meaningful event. The exact date has not been decided yet. Part of that is because it's about getting the liaisons onboarded, and we want to make sure that will work. So that'll be probably towards the end of April, beginning of May. So when we do have that information, of course, we'll be sharing that. A couple of the really great things that have evolved recently is we are going to be offering a mobile mental health clinic that I've been working with principals to identify schools that are interested in having that. That's through La Familia. And this is, again, free of charge for families, and we'll be working with each of the school sites to make that available to families. We will also be providing mobile vaccine clinics beginning in April into May, June, and even into the summer, and obviously at the beginning of the school year. But right now, we're going to focus on getting them out there in the spring. And those mobile vaccine clinics will be in partnership with Camarena, which, as you're aware, they're opening their new clinic on the corner of Ward and Pacheco. And I had a wonderful tour of the location and working with the manager there and the regional director. And we have several irons in the fire in terms of, in addition to the mobile vaccine clinics, that again, I'm working with the principals that are interested, and Camarena says whatever vaccines you want, you let us know, we will make them available. So we will be providing, yes, the 6th grade Tdap, obviously at the end of 6th grade going into 7th grade, but we're also looking at the potential of the flu vaccines and different vaccines. So we're going to be arranging that with Camarena very soon to get those at the different schools that have asked for them. So I'm working with principals right now to get that done. One event that we are going to be, you're going to be hearing a lot more about is what we're calling out. Before I called it the spring extravaganza, but it's actually more accurately now we're calling it the summer kickoff, because it will be Saturday, May 31st. Location is still to be decided. I'm working on a couple of locations, but I don't want to say until we have it settled. And this is going to be a health, wellness, and summer learning fair. So looking at, providing resources for parents to help them make sure that their students keep reading and keep working, on their academics. And as well as having Camarena and other UC Merced, UCSF medical groups come out, as well as multiple other, we're going to have about 30 vendors that will be coming out. And we'll have fun events. You may have gone to the backpack giveaway that was at Westside Union last summer. So the organization that ran that, Binational of Central California, I'm partnering with them, and they run a fun, tight ship. So they'll have a DJ, they're going to have giveaways. I heard a rumor that there might actually be a TV giveaway, so like some really great things for a giveaway. So, this is really to benefit the community and to kick off the summer and provide resources for families in multiple ways, as well as signing up for the backpack giveaway that we will be having again in August. They'll be letting parents know about that so that we can get even more people out to that event. In addition, I'm in the process of working with secondary education and extended education to provide summer enrichment opportunities, especially for our junior high and high school students. Not that I'm going to completely forget about elementary, of course. We'll offer some of those, but we have quite a few more options. Families have more options for the younger children than they do the older, and we want to step in with things like a CSI camp, a music creation camp, content creation, arts, robotics, cooking, etc. So I'm working with several different organizations to bring in week-long camps, maybe single-day camps, maybe a series of single-day camps that they can sign up for if they don't want to commit to just one topic for a whole week. And we're looking to do that not only during the time that summer school is already happening, but also closer to when school starts. Because just because it's the end of July, beginning of August, we haven't opened, the schools haven't opened yet, and families still could use things for their children to do. But a lot of times those kind of camps dry up. So we're looking to have them offered during times that families could really benefit from that. So I am, like I said, I am working with the director, Mr. Cruz and Dr. Sutton, on making sure that we have, that we're including all the sites, including San Luis and the junior highs and high schools, and looking at how we can coordinate with LEAP and make sure that we're not, doing any damage in that regard either. We want to make sure we're supporting each other in that regard. And then lastly, I wanted to give you some insight into the conferences and professional development that the community schools team, which will include the community school liaisons, the Family Resource Center supervisor, and myself, we're going to be going to several conferences and learning opportunities. One of them is the School Health Conference that will be in Southern California at the end of April. That one is a great connection, especially with the, one of the roles that the community liaisons will overlap a lot with a community health worker. And so those skills are things that we want to make sure that the liaisons have in their tool belt as they talk to families, and they're able to then provide references to supports and services for them. So we're working on making sure we're incorporating resources there. I'll be going to the Boost conference, which is the best of out of school time. So that'll help extend. Unfortunately, Mr. Cruz isn't able to go with me. That would have been a great thing for he and I to go to together, but he's been before, so he highly recommended it. So I'll be going to that, and I'm excited about the opportunities that then I can get ideas on how else we can really support that fourth pillar of community schools, which is the extended learning opportunities for students and families. The National Community Schools and Family Engagement was approved by you last meeting, and that's in Minneapolis. Say that 3 times fast. And we'll be taking my goal is when the ones that I take the team to will have, I'll have a rotating team of about 7 people. That way, different liaisons can go and then come back and teach the rest of the team. So we'll have different liaisons going to the different events so that everybody gets an opportunity to explore and learn, about many of these topics. The National Community Schools and Family Engagement event is a really exciting one because the Community Schools Initiative is actually a nationwide initiative. And so we'll have the opportunity to go to site visits to community schools in other states and see how they're envisioning this initiative, which will be really interesting to see. Then we have the Family Leadership Summit, which is put on by the Family Leadership Incorporated. They currently work with Westside Union Elementary, and in the past they've worked with other schools in Los Banos. So we are going to their summit, and that'll be, I'm going to have a quick turnaround on that one. I'll be taking a team down to that, then coming back really quickly because then the next day will be the California Community Schools and Power Summit, which is put on by CDE. And this year that'll be in Fresno, so at least it's right here in our own backyard. And that one is exciting too because, again, that'll be an opportunity for us to network with all of the different regions of California around community schools and what all of us are doing. So that's the wrap for now. And then next month I'll have some new things because things are rapidly changing. I have new things happening every day. And I'll be excited to let you know, once the liaisons are approved, where we're at with that. So any questions or comments?
I just want to know, in the last 30 days, have you found any time to sleep?
Well, you pull over, take a cat nap.
That's quite a list of things. So thank you for doing all that great work. Dana, I have your name up. Oh, didn't happen. Okay. Ms. Catuso.
A great list of activities. Kudos to you for getting that all organized. What's the plan to get the word out?
On which?
Any of them.
So
your
far I've been
activities.
using, so for example, I didn't mention it here, but the last time we do have, and I should have put that down, I spaced it for a second. We have the Merced County Parent Leadership Training Institute is holding their Dream Big conference. And the way I've been letting the families know is through Parent Square and then also through social media. And then we have our own, Community Schools has our own webpage through on the district website. And then once I have my community school liaisons, we'll be able to do good old fashioned phone calls. And so, with a bigger team, I'll be able to get the word out there more. So I'll be using those. One of the great things that came out of our advisory committee is they recommended we go to the fair and table at the fair. And so I haven't arranged it yet. I'm going to be calling to arrange to have a table at the fair and, because everybody will be there. So we'll make sure to be out there. Any events that we're able to go to, our liaisons will be able to go to those events. And I'm hoping that we will have, maybe we'll just create our homemade signs and then eventually get fancy ones. But, maybe we'll have the signs. So we're brainstorming all along. We're taking new ideas, and that's where it's really wonderful to have the advisory council because they can definitely give us insight into, well, you should try this and you should call them. And
I think maybe a good idea even would be to go to a city council meeting and in their public comment time when you have an event.
Fantastic.
I know that you commute, so maybe since you're going to have the liaisons, maybe they can rotate going and maybe announce.
Absolutely. And once I have a team that I'll be able to delegate to, then my brain can actually, think about going to other meetings, and
Yeah,
that's,
sure.
that'll free up my brain space to actually make it out there, because that is my goal, that even though I commute, I know that this is not a 9 to 5 job. It never was, when I took it on as a community school coordinator, this is about being present for the community. So that's a great idea, and I'll definitely take you up on it. And once I have the community school liaisons, like, they're going to come up with ideas of where they'll be able to go and talk about community schools.
Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you.
Dr. Moran?
Just a quick one. I know we still have to connect on collaborations with like Merced College, but one of the things that just came to mind, we do have a child development center as well, so that would be a good way to get the word out for those community at large programs. So not only are we just secondary, but that could be another good venue. I know our parents, so on the childcare side, they always love and thrive and want to hear more. And so a little bit more restrictive. So anything that I could do to support.
Okay, yeah, I'd love to talk with you and
Definitely.
connect with you about how we can make a partnership happen. That'd be awesome.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
I'll reach out.
All right. I don't have anybody else on the board here. Anybody else have anything?
Okay, thank
Dr.
you.
Whitaker, thank you. Thank you. Good report. Next up is Dr. Marshall's report.
Okay. I'm up, and before I start, I want to acknowledge we have someone tonight, Diana Maria Costado. She's here with us. She's filling in as our Director of Special Education. Miss Henry is out, so thank you for being here. All right. You can see there in my report, that's a picture of Colin Kaepernick and myself. We met at the ASA conference in New Orleans. And what's interesting, I was just talking to him, and I didn't realize that he had a Central Valley connection from Turlock. And we were talking, and when I said Los Banners, he just lit up. To just see his face just light up, like he knew exactly where it is, and he has like a little history here, I guess, playing against us and stuff back in the day. So that was cool to meet him. All right, a few milestones that I wanted to share this month. Like as Dr. Wheeler talked about, our community schools team did visit the Antelope Valley on February 28th, and we got to see some community schools in action. Francine Baker, she was the Merced chapter co-administrator of the year. So she's moved on to that the next phase, which is a regional competition. And it was I went to the awards banquet, and I'm a very competitive person, so it was nice to see that she had a lot of Merced people to move on this year. And so it was nice to have a Los Banners person in the mix as well. So that's a good job, Mrs. Baker. We had a very successful our FPM review. That's our federal money that we get from each year. And when they give you money, that you have to spend it properly, and they do come out and they audit. And going back, Dr. Ritchie shared that years ago, like 2019, when they came last time, we had about 50 findings. And what happens is if they find issues with how you're using the money, what happens, you have to either fix it or they simply take it back because it's their money. So this time, we had like 9, less than 10. And there was a lot of work. I think there's some Ed Services people that are here that can attest to the work that they did to make sure that when they came, that this was that we had our issues addressed. So it was a lot better this time. So I want to highlight that. The Merced Symphony, they've been great. They've entertained our 4th graders this week. Pacheco High School had held its career fair. It was nice to visit that. And then we also had, if you notice, after each of my points, I talk about core values. We had a good launch meeting for our strategic plan. And we came up with some tips on how to get the word out. One thing they suggested was, as far as aligning what we do, kind of align that to the plan itself. And so I did that this month. So I want to highlight that. So after each one, you'll see the different core value that corresponds to that. So I did that. It was a nice visit. I want to go back to our community schools team visit to the Antelope Valley. They are a community like us. And it was nice to see it from both ends, because one concern that was raised from the beginning is you got this grant for $21 million. What happens after it's over? Eastside Union, they basically have a model for how to sustain after, because their model, they're doing it. They don't have the grant. They took local funds and they're leveraging it and they're moving along. So they're going to get the grant. They're going to be more powerful. Lancaster was more akin to what we're doing as far as having a lot of the stuff kind of more parallel to what we're doing. So that was good to see that. And it was I hadn't been there in 8 years, so they really rolled out the red carpet for us, and that was nice of them. Finally, at last month's meeting, I'll move forward. You asked us to kind of well, we'll do the next one. Well, let's first do this. I want to recognize, like I talked about, Mrs. Baker being the co-administrator of the year for our county, and she's moving on to regional competition. One group I didn't recognize last month, and I said I'm going to bring it back because Ms. Lewis did send the email to me. It's the Pacheco High School pentathlon team. They won a lot of medals and awards at this last competition, so I really wanted to highlight that. So I said I would bring that back. And then this year, a lot of our athletes, basketball, our soccer teams, our track teams, wrestling teams, they all enjoyed postseason play. Okay. Right? And then the last thing, I'll fix it. Can you open that link? I'll share this. I didn't catch that. Can it just open? Oh, cool. It's open. Okay. It's interesting. Is it open? I don't see.
It's doing something.
All right. Are we there? Okay. This is weird. There's a story behind this. Okay, can we scroll down? All right. So when I saw this, they sent me this link. And you can see. We'll just scroll down a little bit. And this is like the awards the day. So you get to see people from all over the country that they get in Virginia. Go ahead. Georgia, Pennsylvania. That's like near Atlanta. Keep going. Alabama. Scroll down. And you see somebody you know from a town, Los Banos, California. Now, what's cool about this is that, you look at the year that I was there. I was there in 1999. So when Mr. Dela Cruz, when you talk about 99, I mean, that year kind of resonated with me for a little bit too. But that's been a long time ago. And you look at one thing they had, I'm glad they fixed it. They had put initially, when I saw it, they put Long Beach there. So I'm like, please fix that. I know the guy in Long Beach. I'm not Long Beach. So they did fix it. So thank you. So I just wanted to share that. Now I have some photos. The next one. You can see as I talked about, you have Mrs. Baker and Mr. Thomas. That's our Pacheco High School pentathlon team. I mean, they did very well. So I said I was going to highlight what they did. Okay, next. So now I'm going to turn over, if we can turn Dr. Lee's mic on. There was a request made last month. And Sherry Monday, Dr. Lee, and myself, we worked on that. And he'll present what we did.
So in 2018, the board approved the measure, put forward Measure X, and our local, community approved that bond. That's $65 million. So far, we received $43.5 million so far. We still, will be anticipating receiving $21.5 million coming forward. So here's some initiatives that Measure X is supposed to do, such as improve safety, repair or replace, and to modernize, to upgrade the Lofton Stadium, and to relieve severe overcrowding. And you can see that we did a few projects. Here's just some example here. We used Measure X bond, and we also provided district contribution from other funding sources. That's towards facility and maintenance. So we have, yesterday, we actually committed all the money we received, the $43.5 million towards those facility, initiatives. And we also contribute almost matching that amount, so we're almost doubling that amount to do our needs. So we have fire alarms such as the West Side and the high school fire alarm. That's coming out our other funding sources. We did roofing, the high school, H&J Wing, and Tiger Gym. And we did the modernization. So the Measure X is going to contribute $6.5 million to that. And we are putting our state funding, $22.08 million towards that project. Also, we did a vote out and send those portable classrooms. We renovate the Lofton Stadium, so Major X is going to contribute to that $10.81 million we're allocating. I would say we are going to contribute $9.14 million. Also, we use Measure X bond to construct the grassland for overcrowding. So, $23.96 million towards that project. District contributing additional 7.63. Also, for the early education complex, we're allocating $23.73 million towards that from Measure X. $9.21 million from our district contributions. So that's the project we're working on. And just want to really thank our community for supporting the Measure X bond that allow us to improve our school facilities and provide a better learning environment for our students. Here's some pictures of the Pacheco, the Los Banos, Lofton Stadium, and also the Early Education Center.
Okay, and the last thing that I have this evening is, like I talked about last month, the big topic that we should all be paying attention to is as far as like the change at the federal level as it relates to the funding that we get. And what I did is we provided, thank you, Ms. Melanie Marcella, she got this for me. But I got a lot of questions about, okay, how do federal funds impact our budget? What you see here is a snapshot of all the different areas that federal education touches. You can look at it, the list is extensive as far as Title I, your title program. Every student succeeds, a lot of your special education funding, workability, Department of Rehab, a lot of your title programs, your student support and academic enrichment, you see the money there. Title III, homeless youth, child nutrition, and the total you have there is like almost $16 million. Additionally, the E-rate program that we participate in, that's about $500,000 a year that we get to do a refresh on our technology at the schools. That's federally funded too. So I mean, that needs to be known. And so I wanted to just share that because as we move forward, that is about a good percentage of our budget, not a small percent, but it's not small change. You look at child nutrition, that's about 80% of his budget is federal. Dr. Lee, he likes to apply for safety grants and such. And there was one you were working on, and what happened right in the process?
Right, working on that grant for work violence prevention, and all of a sudden I could see the notice saying that grant has been pulled or canceled. So I reached out, see what happened, and there's some change over there in the federal level. So they're rescinding the funding. So there's a lot of changes, like Dr. Marshall mentioned.
Right. So moving forward this spring, that's something that we all need to be cognizant of and really pay attention to that. So I wanted to just end by stating that. So that's my report.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Marshall. Dr. Lee. Moving on to board member reports. I usually go last, and all I say is ditto. So you guys can say ditto, and then I'm going to go first this time. Just a few things. I want to thank the Los Banos High School FFA for inviting us to their Sweetheart Banquet. The food's always great, and it's always a unique opportunity to see the kids act like really good kids. The FFA really does a good job of strengthening their character, so that's a great thing. And of course, get to hear who gets the award for being the Sweetheart of the Year. So that's always good of the four candidates. And I think they raised, I remember right, it was $20,000, I think, on their balloon sale for that thing. So 29? I can't remember exactly. 29,000. Thank you. I couldn't remember. So thank you, Pacheco High School, Los Banos High School, for inviting us. And I know you're going to use the money well. This past week, or last week, I guess, was, last week, I'm sorry, was Read Across America, and most of us read in classes. I got to read at Henry Miller and Grassland, and so I read a total of 10 classes in one day. So it was quite the quite the day, but it was fun. The kids were absolutely great, and they had a number of readers all day long. And so when I got to Grasslands, I was after lunch, at the end of the day, in 4 6th grade classes, but they were focused. They were great. So all the kids were great for all the classes I read too. So thanks for the invite to have us there. That's probably what I always tell them. This is the best part of being a board member is not sitting at meetings. It's going to the schools and seeing what's happening there. So thanks for the invite to that. I also went to Pacheco High School's College and Career Fair. And one of the things I always notice going to those college and career fairs is they have used to be it was a college fair and everything else. Now they have really expanded to the career side. I mean, they had beauticians, they had metal workers, they had highway patrol and sheriff, and so there was a lot of other things besides just there was a lot of colleges there, but there were a lot of other opportunities for our students who may not be college focused. And so I want to thank both. I know Los Banos High School does the same thing with theirs, really introducing the kids to other opportunities for those that aren't focused on just maybe college. And some of them, like maybe they start out doing something and then will eventually go to college, but at least they know that there's a lot of other things out there for them. So thank you, the high schools, for making it making our students more aware of what's out there for them after they leave high school. And last but not least, it was Arbor Day last Friday, and the Los Banos Parks and Recreation always has an art contest for our students, and it was really cool watching them all going up to get their awards. We had a number of students who participated from all of our schools, and we have such great artists that every single kid got first place. So it just tells you how great artists they are. So they got that, and they got a certificate, and they got a sapling they can go home and plant in their yard and have a tree. So thank you to Parks and Rec and the City of Los Banos for sponsoring that Arbor Day opportunity for our students to participate in Arbor Day. So that's my report. And so with that, we'll start with Mr. Lieb.
So I can ditto most of what Mr. Pereira said. In addition, I attended the Los Banos High School Drama Club production of Not Another Bedtime Story. Wasn't really sure what I was going to see. It was very funny, and it was announced at the beginning that many of the students in the production, this would be their first time on stage, and they did an excellent job. So I enjoyed that. I attended the Ag Day at Miano. Every year they have one. Thanks to Pacheco High for providing all the animals and basically Morningstar and beekeepers and just about everyone you could think of brought something related to ag. Tomorrow morning is Velasco Elementary School Ag Day, so looking forward to seeing that. Hopefully it happens without...
And Henry Miller.
Oh, Henry Miller, I'm sorry. Without the rain. Yes, that's right. I did the Read Across America. I read 4 classes at Grasslands, and then I shadowed Dr. Ritchie as he read 4 classes. He did a much better job than I did. He has a lot more experience in reading the classes. I did attend the Merced Symphony Orchestra. They brought a small group of string instruments and professionals to introduce the idea of an orchestra with string instruments to all 4th graders. Kudos to Eric Sowersby for making sure that happens every year. And I know that there's a lot of other funding mechanism that goes into that to help pay for that. The person that leads it is Dawn Harms from San Francisco. She is, I don't know what her profession is, but she's really an entertainer. She engages with the kids, and they really respond well. Lastly, it is true that all school districts have teachers and administrators that go way above and beyond the call of duty, and the Los Banos Unified School District is one of those districts for sure. I was invited to go to Charleston Elementary because it's reading time of the year. The principal there, Lou Reese, challenged the students to read 500 books, and he told them that if they read 500 books, he would kiss a goat. So the students actually read over 1,000 books, and so he brought all the students outside, and he brought out a goat. It was a stuffed animal, and he kissed it, and you can imagine what the response was from the students. But then quickly, Mrs. Strominger from Pacheco High, who's an ag teacher over there, they made arrangements for her to bring one of the students' real goats, and because they read 1,000 books, Lou Reese told all the students that he would kiss the goat twice. So in fact, Mr. Reese kissed the goat twice, and he really kissed the goat. The students just went ballistic. So this is a sign of going above and beyond, because I don't know how many of you educators out there would actually do this, but he did. So kudos to Lou Reese, and that's my report. Thank you.
Of course, Mr. Reese was an ag teacher
Yes.
before, so he probably kissed a lot of pigs too. So anyway, all right, thank you, Mr. Castro.
No report at this time.
No report. So next up is Ms. Smith. Ms. Smith, do you have a report?
I do not.
All right, on to Ms.
Thank you.
Valadeo. You bet. Thank you, Ms. Valadeo.
All I want to add is, one of our core values is community, and you've heard all along, Dr. Wheeler, thank you. You are a big part of building community and bringing the community together to work with Los Banos Unified School District, because we believe, and this is part of our statement, we believe that community is fundamental in shaping our shared identity. And you are a big part of what's going to make that happen, even though you heard Pacheco High School had career night. There's lots of activities that are going on that brings the community together with Los Banos School District. So sometimes I like to show and point out that one of our big core values is community, and we're really striving to make that work. And that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Moran.
Thank you. I do have a handful of thank yous. Thank you to Cecilia Robledo at Mercy Springs Elementary, Laura Razzie at LBE. So those were the two schools that I went for Read Across America. It was amazing. I would echo and say ditto on the fact that that is the best part of being a board member, is being able to go into the class and be with the little ones, because I don't get to be around little ones, and they're phenomenal. So they were the pre-K were going to be going to the zoo the next day. So I read a book about teeth. And so remember, I was going to LBE to read Spanish. So I went to the DLI classes, and the book was amazing. And it was talking about like proper hygiene of your teeth. And so then it became a conversation about what they were going to see at the zoo. And I said, well, maybe you can see which animals you will see at the zoo, and maybe you can start counting at the zoo their teeth. So hopefully, just public announcement, it wasn't a hard time for the teachers as they're running around maybe counting the teeth on these animals that they were seeing. But it was such a pleasure to be out there, and just thank you for having me out there. Another big takeaway is in just conversation, it was brief conversation sometimes with the teachers, is just what amazing talent we do have that are homegrown. So one of the things on my daytime job that we were doing is highlighting Merced College alumni. And so I got to run across so many of the teachers that have actually graduated from Merced College. And so I just wanted to say what a great talent, what a great connection that we do have between both districts. One of them we featured in one of our this month's newsletter, Angelina Torres over at Mercy Springs Elementary. Again, by visiting over at Mercy Springs and LBE, I got two more that we're going to be featuring again, because the community needs to see that. So going back to those values, the community needs to see that you can be born and raised, me being one of them, you can be born and raised in this city and do great things. So that was a main takeaway. And lastly, it's going to be a busy weekend for me. So I think I'm going to hunker down this weekend, review scholarships. So you heard from our student report that 77 applied just for one school. So I'm going to be cozying up and reading through a lot of scholarships this weekend. So that'll be it for me.
All right, thank you. Ms. Cattuso.
Well, I also got to read at quite a few different schools. I got to read at Bolton, Miano, and Henry Miller, and it is the highlight of being a board member. I'm sure most most of the board, well, all of us, I guess, would agree, being able to go into the classrooms, read to the kids, and just see how excited they are to see somebody in their class and reading to them. And I'm getting better because, I'm a high school teacher. So littles has not been, something I'm used to doing. So I am getting better. So if any of the teachers, have listened to me read in class, I promise I'll try harder if I didn't do very well. Same. And I did go to a lot of the things everybody else did, but one thing was that I'm excited about that they're still doing is portfolio day at the high school. So the ROP teachers basically teach their students how to have an employability portfolio, which includes a resume, cover letter, work samples, references, letters of recommendation. And I was able to be one of the interviewers for students. And it is just amazing to see what they've learned in class, how they present themselves in an interview. And, I don't know, I was an ROP teacher. That was my thing. And I actually started Portfolio Day over 25 years ago. And to see that they're still doing it, I'm just very thankful because I had a high school student that came to me his senior year and said, "What's a resume?" Because he was applying for scholarships. And I was a teacher who taught resumes and employability, and I never even taught my own child. So it's just a great skill for them to have. This happened to be the medical classes, and I'm very happy to see the medical classes at Los Banos High as well doing this, and they're all the students are actually going to New Bethany as one of their sites. So that's a great thing for them to do, getting that hands-on. So I just kind of wanted to highlight that as one of our core values. I think the teacher is striving for excellence in her class. So kudos to Kayla Jimenez, the teacher there. So thank you, and that's all I have. Oh, have a great spring break. It's coming soon. Yay.
All right. So that's all the board member reports. On to new business. First item is the presentation of for bond information. So I know Dr. Lee drug Adam up here, and we want to welcome him. Dr. Lee?
Thank you. We have a presentation on the bond update. So Mr. Adam Bowers, the CEO and president, so he will be presenting the update of finance plan and the potential 2026 bond measures.
Well,
great, thank you. And we serve as the district's municipal advisor and have done so for a long time. It's been a real privilege. And you made my night with kissing a goat. And I know he might say he's an ag teacher, but that means he knows what goats eat. And that makes it more challenging to kiss a goat than people who don't. Just for a person that had a goat, I know that. So I admire your teacher and that commitment that he had. This one, all these slides the board has seen, really just bring an update, and then I'm focusing on a few issues that I want your attention on, and staff and I have been working on. But this historical assessed value one, you've seen this. Your assessed value has increased in a very positive way, which has allowed you to be able to continue issuing GEO bonds, and you allowed us to use very conservative assumptions. And so whenever I come back to you, I get to have a little bit better news than I told you we would, because you allowed me to maintain those conservative assumptions, and your assessed value has continued to grow in a great fashion. As a reminder, this is all taxable property within a district's boundary. So this building has a zero assessed value, but all the commercial and residential, you multiply the percentage that we have our tax rate, and that's our revenue to repay the bonds. On the next slide, we show your 2008 measure, and you can see how that's going. To the far left there, we just show you how it's been issued, what's taken place, how it got passed. To the far right there, I want to show you something really positive. Once again, those assumptions were conservative, and you can see that red line, there's a gap between the red line and those blue and orange bars. What that shows is that we're having a lower tax rate than what you originally projected for taxpayers, a real positive. Then you have your 2018 measure, which we've been talking about a bit, and you can see there we still have a big gap, and that's because we have this unissued and authorized amount down there at 21.5. The other thing that's neat about the 2018 measure was we did a wraparound another measure. We said between the two, we won't go over this 50, and you can see that with these blue hash marks at between 2024 and 26. And so once again, that's a real positive that you really soften the impact or the burden for the homeowners. But you still have 21.5 that you can issue there. Oops, excuse me. So this next slide, we show all your debt outstanding. And there's one I really want to point your attention to, or there's two, I should say. There is the 2015, or 2008-2015, and then the refunding series. Some say refundable at any date, and the other one says 8/1/2025. What that means is we can refinance these just like we do a home mortgage, all the rest of us. But for the taxpayers within your community, you can refinance these bonds and lower the interest. The district gets no benefit out of this. It's just lowering the tax rates for the homeowners and lowering what they pay in a tax bill. But that's what those first two. Those first two are available for refinancing at this point in time. And our next slide, what we're showing there is to the far left, we show a total of $35.3 million. That means we can get 6.51% savings there at the bottom. Generally, anytime you're over 3, it's worth looking at. Go over 5%. It's worth serious consideration. So you're at 6.51%. So this is something we should all give strong consideration to. And we've been talking with district staff about getting this process started here. And so this, what you see in dark blue, so right now, if you look at the dark blue and the light blue, that's what your taxpayers are repaying. If we can refinance this with the rate that we last ran this at, they would just have the dark blue. We'd basically shave off that light blue. And that's really what we're looking to do. And then what we did here is if your district was ready to issue its next series, we can combine those, and there's some efficiencies to that. Or if we're not ready, we could do refinancing and come back later and do the GeoBond next issuance. But we're looking at here is this is if we layered in our next series of bonds. And once again, we use that blue hash line. You can see there, even if we issued all the bonds with the current interest rates, you'd be slightly below the interest rate that we promised voters. So once again, another very positive thing. So what we do here is just kind of show some steps. Today we're introducing it. We could be back as early as April 10th and get a rating May 5th and basically be ready to sell the bonds and close on March 20th. One of the things about these bonds is there's some that aren't done that frequently now, and you have not done them in recent times because they're a little bit more expensive, and that's capital appreciation bonds. These are bonds that pay zero interest until their maturity, so they have more expensive costs. This one, to kind of restructure it, you would need just a few of those. So you need 2 board meetings, but even with doing that, you're lowering the tax rate for homeowners. So that's what that 2-step process that you're not familiar with is. So that is kind of what you have in front of you today with no new voter authorization or anything like that. And then coming up, we have an opportunity to look at 2026 measure, and all these look the same, but the numbers are different. The red line represents the maximum amount that we're targeting. In this case, it's 30, and those different color bars represent a series of bonds for a total of $60 million at $30 tax rate. So you saw this in July. I showed this to you. The next one is 40. Like I said, it just looks the exact same, just different numbers. That one is $40, gets you to $81 million. The next one, 50, I'm just going to skip now because we get to this final page, which gives you a summary of things. And that is at 30, 40, 50, and 60, the district could generate somewhere between 60 and 122 million. You might ask, how do you decide? Number one is your need. And so evaluating what the district needs are, that's a driving factor. Usually districts are not able to fund their full need. And so then it would be doing surveys or things like that to figure out how much would the community support of that total need. But that's really what would drive which decision, but we have those options to take a look at. So I have some new information. You have seen everything up to that really large spike at the end, and that was November of 2024. The largest election cycle we've seen, not the most successful, only 77% passed, which has been an improvement in recent times, but the most GEO bonds that were passed. And really what happened here is You can see in 2020, 22, there's barely any GEO bonds on the ballot. I mean, it's hard to ask people to vote for things when their kids are at home. Right? That was a really hard time, and voters didn't support it in the same way. We had our lowest one in March of 2020. So your next opportunity coming up is 2026, and we have seen some recent success. 2026 is going to be robust. I have had more activity this early in the process I've ever had for a non-presidential cycle. So if you were to choose to do this, you would not be the only one. I think there's going to be a lot out there looking to do it. And a lot of it is to take advantage of that state money. So in order for districts to get that Prop 2 money or the next one, you have to provide your local source of funding. That's your ticket to get the statewide money. If you don't have your local funds, you send money to the state and you never get it back. And that's really one key advantage to general obligation bonds is to get you in line for those things. You've seen this. This is just the steps. Just wanted to remind you. These are other team members that we had to get involved, survey, communication consultant. Here's the schedule. We showed June of 2026. And you can see here we would start pretty quickly as in the summer. Also, looking at November of 2026, we just have a little bit more time. Could start a little bit later in the summer. Generally, November could be a really good time because turnout is likely to be very high. For the first time in a long time, we are going to have a new governor. We don't know, who or she's going to be, but I think that's going to have a lot of turnout. Turnout's good for school districts. When you have more people voting, you get more say, and you have positive results. Let me just prove that to you. Look at this chart. If you see a green dot, that's a presidential election. A green dot has more success than all the yellow dots. 26 is not a presidential election. My point to you is turnout improves results. So those are the slides that we have prepared. Really, that first part would be the part that we would work with district staff to initiate, and that's getting started on that refinancing. And then if it made sense to bring in that new money now, we can combine the two. If not, we could just bifurcate them, do the refunding, and come back and get the new money. So it's good to see everyone. Thank you.
Any questions for Adam? All right, I guess we'll see you back sometime soon.
Sometime soon. Look forward to it.
All righty. Thank you, Adam. All right, on to item B, which is our second interim budget report. Ms. Marcella, welcome.
Good evening. Let's see if I can remember to advance it. Okay, tonight I bring to you the 24-25 second interim budget report for your approval. Let me do a brief summary. First, I want to acknowledge Ariana Escobar, fourth grader at Charleston Elementary, for her artwork. I thought that was perfect for the weather. This is like the highlight of me doing these books is the covers. I really enjoy seeing how they get them from elementary, then junior high and high school, how they change, and it's just fun to see them. Okay, what is the second interim budget report? It is a report that tells us where we are financially between July and January and a snapshot compared to what we were at budget development. It also helps us project our financial status throughout the remaining of the year. We will be submitting a positive certification for the second interim budget report, and I was hoping your students stayed so that they would know what that meant. It means that we can meet our financial obligations for the current year and the next two subsequent years. Our district enrollment is currently at 11,038. We had 11 student UPP increase that gave us about $29,000 more, so that was nice. Our average daily attendance is 10,231. We will have a more updated number once we do P2 enrollment. We don't do that till April, so I should be able to give you a better number at that time. We had a 1.07% cost of living in COLA and a 2% cost of living adjustment to the salary schedule from January through June. We also received one more Golden State Pathways Grant Award for $189,512 since the last presentation. Okay. So this report shows what we were at first interim versus second interim, and you could see that $29,000 increase was for that increase in that UPP count. Our unrestricted expenditures ranged around 153 million, with salary and benefits being 76% of our budget. Our restricted expenditures were 131. You'll notice most of it is in books and supplies because it's those large grants that we have that we budget in books and supplies after what's left after the salaries and benefits for those programs. So how did we end up? Our beginning budget from July 1st was $75 million. Our revenue is $227 million, and our expenditures are $277. Yes, we are deficit spending. Keep in mind, we gave a 2% raise and our COLA was only 1.07. So what picks that up? Ending fund balance picks that up. So when we end in June, we're looking at ending about $20 million. And I know what everyone thinks, $20 million, that's a lot of money out there for grabs. But let's break down what that $20 million is. $29,000 of it is our revolving fund account. $5.9 million is restricted funding. Our payroll reserves are $638,000. Keep in mind our payroll is about $8.5 million per month at this time. LCAP, committed funds for LCAP is $5.1 million. Our EPA funds, $248, and our 3% required reserves is $8.4 million. Keep in mind a lot of our money is restricted, but general fund takes the hit for that 3% that we're required to have. This slide is actually a new slide. I purposely put this in because I keep hearing the question, where's our class size reduction money? Class size reduction, also known as grade span adjustment, is part of our LCFF calculator. It is part of COLA. And I put, you could see in class size reduction, we get $4.2 million. We don't get a separate part. It's part of our calculator. It's part of our apportionment. And so I just want everyone to know it is part of it. We don't receive a second pot of money because I know a lot of people ask, well, what happened to the class size reduction money? It's the same as grade span adjustment. It's just called different. So how do we get grade span adjustment, other known as class size reduction? There are two options to get these funds. First, the district can maintain a class size enrollment of 24-1 on K through 12 classes, or they can collectively bargain for an agreement allowing increased class size reduction. Those are the only two options to get these funds. Types of funding. We also get a lot of questions like when I put the carryover slide and you see the 53 million. And everyone thinks, ooh, 53 million, let's go after it. That is restricted funds. There's a difference between unrestricted and restricted. Unrestricted are funds that are not subject to external or legal constraints as long as they are not prohibited by law. Restricted funds are those resources subject to constraints imposed by external resources provided or by law through constitutional provisions or enabling legislation. When we receive restricted funds, we receive them with a certain use that they have to be followed. Misuse of those funds can be fines and also imprisonment. Keep in mind, these funds are audited annually. We just went through that FPM audit that was federal funds. They turned over everything they could turn over and look at. So restricted funds. I always give a shot of this so when people see that beginning balance carryover, that starting, they could see that out of that 75 million, 53 million of that was restricted funds that we carried over. Final snapshot. We can meet our financial obligations for the current year and the 2 subsequent years. The district is continuing to monitor ADA and enrollment, and we're really watching the federal funding because we're really concerned. Like Dr. Marshall said, that's about 16 million. That, we have to be concerned about that, especially with not knowing COLA and where that's going to land. That keeps fluctuating up and down. So it's kind of hard to build a budget for next year when there's so many uncertainties that I hope we get answers to very soon. Pension contributions continue to increase. Special ed and transportation also continue to increase annually. But we are monitoring it on a daily basis. And as soon as we know, we usually make sure that you guys know. Any questions?
I just, excuse me, I just have a couple things.
Sure.
I want to point out to my fellow board members. I'm sure you all look through the budget book, which is this really big, heavy thing.
I forgot to run it back to back. That's why it's so big. But I wasn't going to waste the tree, so I
That's
just
all right.
put it like that.
But looking at it, and you guys know that I always spend a lot of time in the budget book. The difference between the first interim and the second interim, we had an increase in revenue of 1.1 million. But if you go down a couple of lines, our expenditures between those two, first interim and now the second interim, was an additional, our total expenditures were increased by 2.8 million.
Because the raise didn't take into account till January, so the raise didn't hit first interim.
Right. What I'm saying though is we got $1.1 million in money, but we spent $2.8 million.
That's
in
the
outgo.
ramifications of giving more than COLA.
I know. And so, I mean, you pointed out and it's like, wow. And our, ending balance went down by $1.7 million. So we need to be aware of what's going on. And also, when you look at the multi-year projection for the next 3 years out, or this year and the next 2 years out, we still have that same problem in the fact that our ending balance keeps going down each one of those 3 years. I'm
The
concerned.
cost of everything keeps
I
going.
know. I'm concerned, and I think we need to be well aware of the fact that we can't continue on this road of
And that
spending,
multi-year is based off the COLA that I know at this time. If it goes down, that also does not look as great years out.
right. So it's all a guess, but
We've been
It's
very
scary.
fortunate that we've been very careful with our spending. When you're hearing all these districts that gave these crazy amounts and now they're all in trouble and they're laying people off, we're fortunate we haven't had to do that because we've been careful.
I know.
And I think it's us constantly monitoring everything.
But we need to be aware of the fact
Yes.
as a board that these numbers keep going down every month, and it's a little scary.
And if
Or
we
every
don't have
quarter.
that funding balance, we're
I
in
know.
trouble.
I know.
That's when we
exactly.
can't certify as positive, and then that's
I
not
know.
a good situation.
So anyway, I just want to make sure everybody is well aware of that. Ms. Valdeo.
Have a plan in place to stop doing a deficit spending? Because to me, if we keep spending more than we have by year 3 or whatever year that is, we're going to be in trouble. So are we going to put a plan in place to, I don't know, cut something so we don't keep deficit spending?
The answer to that is simple. I mean, you have to have that, but if you look at the budget, 80% of our budget is people. And I think she explained, she kind of explained why we're in this predicament. And that's something that we definitely have to look at. I mean, I think since I've been here, I've been pretty strict about that the whole time. So it's just coming home. So yes, we will have to put something together to make sure, our goal is to make sure that student programming and stuff is not impacted. I don't want it to be in a situation where we have to reduce supports for kids, but it's something to be cognizant of. It's a larger conversation. I think we all know the bigger conversation.
And you can't take from restricted to cover
There you go.
overspending in general fund, and that's something people have to understand. Yes, that 53 million carryover is there. We're not going to have that amount every year because we're spending those
Right.
grants down. But you can't say, well, general fund overspent, so let's pull it from restricted. Unless we all want to go to jail, and I'm sure we don't.
I'm not going.
I mean, that just doesn't make us look
We ain't
financially
going.
responsible to anybody,
Well,
especially
the
the
other problem with
community.
that too is though, our special ed is encroaching on our
Right.
general
Yes.
fund. So we're putting general fund money into special ed and into transportation.
Exactly.
So as those costs increase, it more comes out of our general, out of
Right.
unrestricted that gets put into restricted.
Yes.
And it goes back to my conversation at the beginning. I mean, as far as the federal, the whole federal part conversation, I mean, it all comes full circle.
If we lose that special ed funding,
There you go.
where does that get picked up?
So that's the part it goes back to the beginning, what I said at the onset. I look at the big picture, always do.
So
Ms. Reed.
hopefully the federal funding ends up okay.
But even if the federal funding stays the same, right now, we're still deficit spending. So to me, when I'm deficit spending at home, I've got to cut something, so. I'm just wondering, I mean, I know we have, and I know you're thinking about it, I'm just know that, it's reality.
Right, it is.
Yeah.
And it's not a good thing that we have to do, it's not fun, but something's gonna have to be
And
to
the
go.
price is going up for everything.
I,
There you go.
yeah, I heard.
You know, I mean, we see what we pay at the gas pump. What are we paying to fill up our buses?
Right.
You know, that's all general fund stuff. But thank you very much.
Mr.
Any
Lee.
more questions? Sure.
So in my line of work, I work on deadlines, very important. And so to address Dana's point and Dr. Marshall, what's the deadline? So if we know we have an issue and we know that there's a lot of unknown with the state and with the federal funding, do we need to set a deadline that says, here is the plan by this date, so that we can at least know what our plan A is going to be or plan B?
You can't, I mean, until we know and get concrete numbers and stuff like that, you're basically, you can't make a plan unless you have the data points to make that plan. So again, what has to happen, I mean, you look at there are certain benchmarks, okay, there's the May revise. Then the governor has, he has a certain deadline to kind of finalize the budget. That's when you know exactly how much money you're dealing with. At the first part, when we start school in the fall, there's a document, the unaudited actuals, where they look at what we said we were going to spend versus what we're going to spend, which we actually did spend. So you have to look at the budget. That's why we do these reports, regularly, because the budget is a living document, and things, circumstances change. Sometimes you may think that you do a budget based on ADA of a certain, like 90%, and then you find out at the end of the year you've actually increased to like 92 point. I'm just making this up, and so you get more money. You have to have, in order to have a plan that's actually functionable, you have to have actual real data, because without real data, you're just putting stuff there that's not, that when you can put stuff down. What if you put 80% down and then you come up with 65? Your whole plan is worthless. So you have to have concrete data, the most accurate data possible. Then after you look at that and you actually see your actual spending patterns, then you can move forward with some type of reconciliation plan. But right now, until we figure out what's going to happen with the federal government, that goes back to my initial, in fact, I said it last month, the kind of, I'm more proactive. I said this last month. This is big. You have to look and turn to see how is it all going to play out. That's $16 million, you saw that at the onset, that we have to contend with. You can't make any kind of plan until you figure out what is going to happen with that. That's a significant use. How much of our budget is that about? We did a percentage. About what?
I've seen so many numbers this week. I
Yeah.
couldn't tell you.
Out of $200 million budget, about 8%.
8%. Yeah, that's the number. That's the number you gave me this morning.
So I understand what you're saying. I hear the words. I do. I understand what you're saying. But I still, with your words are saying that it's constantly changing.
Right.
All the time. Everything's changing all the time. May revise, the federal government spending. I hear all that. But reality is we have to make sure that we have enough money to run our school district. So if we're deficit spending, don't we have to eventually come up with a plan so that we're not deficit spending?
Well, there are ways to do that, but it's a larger conversation. I don't want to, it's a lot bigger. And it's a lot.
But we have to plan for it.
I get that, but there are a lot of variables in that.
All right.
And a lot of those things, you're going to have to, you as a board are going to have to deal with some of those variables that impact things. It's a larger conversation.
Right.
You can make all the plans you want, but in terms of there's like the, different, we're not in negotiations, but there are all kind of things, variables that play into that.
Yeah.
It's not something I could put down whatever and I can give you a plan tomorrow. But, but in terms of, we have to look in terms of there are certain things that have to be done. And you guys are aware of that, so.
And keep in mind that whatever COLA is, 1.5% is step and column. That's already bargained. So if you get a 3% COLA, you really only got 1.5 because 1.5 is to step and column. So you always have to keep that in your mind. People think, oh, we got 3%. We really didn't get 3% because 1.5 is already expensed and budgeted somewhere.
Right.
So it's just, we have to be mindful of that.
Okay.
Yeah, the other 1.5's got to do
Right.
Everything
everything
else.
else, cost of gas,
All
cost
the
of-
increased cost of
yeah.
stuff. But people, we all want, that's human nature, but we also want to make sure that people aren't going to lose their jobs and stuff because of not good spending.
All right, any other questions?
Thank you.
Melanie, thank you.
Thank you. Good conversation.
Yep. All right, on to item C, initial bargaining proposal with, whatever. Oh, I'm sorry. No, roll call. Oh. How long have I been doing this? All right, we got a motion by, I'm a little tired here tonight. A motion by member Moran, seconded by member Gattuso to approve the second interim budget report. Roll call, please, Tina.
Mr. Castro? Mrs. Gattuso?
Yes.
Mr. Lieb?
Yes.
Dr. Moran?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Valadeo? Mr. Pereira?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Tina. All right, now on to item C, the initial bargaining proposal with LBTA. Dr. Calzadias.
It's recommended that the board accept the initial bargaining proposal submitted by the Los Banos Teachers Association. This is for the 25-26 bargaining cycle. Board acceptance of the proposal will follow a public hearing.
All right, with that, we will open the public hearing at 8:41. Is there anybody that wishes to come forward and give us their thoughts on the initial bargaining proposal from LBTA? All right, seeing no one come forward, we will close the public hearing at 8:41. Comments or questions from the board? With that, seeing none, I need a motion, please. We got a motion by member Gattuso, seconded by member Castro, to approve the initial bargaining proposal with LBTA. Roll call vote, please, Tina.
Mr. Castro? Ms. Gattuso? Mr. Lieb? Dr. Moran? Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Valadeo? Mr. Pereira?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next item, item D, has been pulled from tonight's agenda. We'll be seeing that at a future agenda. On to item E, board policy and bylaw changes. Who's doing that tonight, Dr. Marshall? Dr. Ritchie is the lead on that, but who's doing that?
Okay, I'll do it.
He's not here.
It's recommended that the board declare its intent to adopt the following mandated updates. Board Policy 0460, Local Control Accountability Plan. AR 0460, Local Control Now Accountability Plan. Board Policy 1250, Visitors Outsiders. Administrative Regulation 1250, Visitors and Outsiders.
All right, so you have that before you. Any comments or questions? All right, need a motion to declare our intent to adopt these bylaw changes. Got a motion by member Lieb, seconded by member Valadeo, to declare our intent to adopt these. He will come back again next month for final approval, but right now we're just declaring our intent to adopt. Tina, roll call, please.
Mr. Castro?
Yes.
Mrs. Gattuso?
Yes.
Or Mr. Lieb?
Yes.
Dr. Moran?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Valadeo? Mr. Pereira?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, on to item F, and that is our employee and volunteer appreciation resolutions. Dr. Marshall?
All right, it's recommended that the board adopt a resolution number 0525, National Volunteer Week, the number 625, Day of the Teacher, and number 725, Classified Employees Week.
All right, and with that, I always like to read these each year rather than we just pass them and nobody knows what they said. So I will read the three resolutions. Resolution 0525, Volunteer Recognition, shining a light on the people and causes that inspire us to serve. Whereas April 20th through April 26th, 2025 is the celebration of National Volunteer Week. And whereas volunteers are eager to help out in every way and take the time to make the world a better place. Whereas volunteerism is recognized as a central partner to education, where young people have the advantage of seeing adults show respect, responsibility, fairness, trustworthiness, caring, and citizenship. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Los Banos Unified School District Board of Trustees publicly thanks and honors the many dedicated individuals who give so freely of their time, energy, and abilities to the students of this school district, not only during this special week, but during throughout the whole year. And with that, on to the second resolution. Resolution 0625, Day of the Teacher, Teachers Today, Touch Tomorrow. Whereas May 7th, 2025 is designated as Day of the Teacher in celebration of the teaching profession, and whereas the board recognizes that a strong public education system for all youth is essential to our democratic system, and whereas the board acknowledges the true heroes of our society, our teachers, for the lasting contributions they make to our most valuable resource, our children. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Los Banos Unified School District Board of Trustees publicly thanks and honors the many dedicated individuals who give so freely of their time, energy, and abilities to the students of this school district, not only on this special day, but throughout the year, and urge the citizens of Los Banos to pay tribute to them as well. On to Resolution 07-25, Classified School Employees Week. Together, everyone achieves more. Whereas May 18th through 24th, 2025 is designated as Classified School Employees Week in celebration of support staff. And whereas the board recognizes that a strong, successful public education system requires a team effort, and the classified employees are valued members of the district team. And whereas the board acknowledges the true heroes of society are classified employees who take care of the district support functions so teachers can concentrate on teaching and students can focus on learning. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Los Banos Unified School District Board of Trustees publicly thanks and honors the many dedicated individuals who give so freely of their time, energy, and abilities, not only during this special week, but throughout the year, and urge the citizens of Los Banos to pay tribute to them as well. Those are our three resolutions recognizing our employees and volunteers for all they do for our district and our students. With that, I need a motion or any comments? I need a motion, please. We got a motion by Member Cashew, seconded by Member Moran to adopt resolutions 0525, 0625, and 0725. Tina, roll call, please.
Mr. Castro? Mrs. Gattuso?
Yes.
Mr. Lieb?
Yes.
Dr. Moran? Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Valadeo? Mr. Pereira?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, on to the consent calendar. And with that, I would like to remind everybody that we did have item B1 on the consent calendar has been updated. It's on the district website and you have it in front of you. And I would like to pull item E from tonight's calendar to discuss after we vote on the rest of the items. Are there any other pulls tonight? All right, seeing none, then I need a motion to approve the consent calendar as updated and with the pull of item E. Motion, please. We got a motion by Member Lee, seconded by Member Gattuso. I'll roll call vote. Tina.
Mr. Castro? Mrs. Gattuso?
Yes.
Mr. Lieb?
Yes.
Dr. Moran? Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Valadeo? Mr. Pereira?
Yes.
Thank you.
So item E, which is donations to the school district. And I just want to call everybody's attention to the great donations that we've received in the past month. We received a donation from Peninsula Clean Energy for the Pacheco High School Annual Wax Museum, which is something really cool if you ever get a chance to see that. The kids do a great job. Also to Morningstar Packing Company, who made a donation to Creekside Junior High for their marquee. And they have been most generous for many of our schools. It seems like once a year they give an electronic marquee to one of our schools. And so I think they're almost got them all done, but there may probably a couple more to go, but we want to thank them for always stepping forward. And also we had, and you have the updated BRM in front of you, a donation from the estate of Joanne Mueller to Los Banos High School in the amount of $50,250. And we do have a member of her family, Beth Mueller Kirkpatrick, is here tonight. We can't thank you enough for this. This is absolutely phenomenal. And I know it's going to be put to great use, and the students at Los Banos High School are really going to benefit from this donation. So thank you very much for that donation. I miss your mom. I used to see her every month at the Golden Agers dinners. She was there every month and enjoyed going, and I always got to say hi and talk to her a little bit. So we'll all miss her because, like I said, I saw her every month, and we'll miss her greatly. So thank you very much for that donation. I really, truly appreciate that. Thank you. All right, so I do need a motion to approve item E on the consent calendar. We got a motion from Member Valadeo, seconded by Member Gattuso, to approve item E. It is roll call, please, Tina.
Mr. Castro? Yes. Ms. Gattuso? Yes. Mr. Lieb?
Yes.
Dr. Moran? Yes. Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Valadeo? Yes. Mr. Pereira?
Yes.
Thank you.
Again, thank you to everybody for that. Next item is we're reporting out of closed session. And we did have one action item in closed session tonight, and that was a request for a waiver from physical education graduation requirements for a student at Los Banos High School. That student number is 5530970. The board approved that waiver, the motion by Lieb, seconded by Member Gattuso. There were 6 yeses, no nos, 1 absent, which was Mr. Castro, who came a few minutes late after we voted on this, so that's why he was absent, but here tonight. And so that was the action in closed session. Next, we have discussion and information and future agenda items. Does anybody have anything?
I have one
Dr.
thing.
Marshall?
It's nothing for the future, just a couple of corrections. I did not, everybody talked about Read Across America. I mean, I visited some sites as well. Grasslands, they always invite me. Miss Lindstrom's class at Miano, so I went and read to those classes, and I wanted to make sure I pointed that out. The other thing, I received a note from the Ed Services team, because they wanted me to be very clear that when I said about the FPM findings, I said it was less than 10. The exact number is 7. They wanted me to, they were like looking at me like, no, it was 7. So the number is 7. So I wanted to make sure I pointed that out, because they worked hard on that.
Great. Super. Thank you. Anybody else have anything, future agenda items, discussion, or anything you want to talk about? Well, with that, it's 8:52, and we're going to adjourn the meeting. Thank you all for being here, and drive home safely, and we'll see you next month. Good night, everybody.